Welcome to 5 Minutes of Momentum. These episodes are a short 5-minute burst of inspiration, motivation, and massive action. If you need that little kick up the butt to get things moving and to inspire you to take massive action, then every single Thursday I'll be sending you through a 5-minute episode to download, digest, and implement to finish your week off strong. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. I'm such a big believer that the universe puts things in your path to support you in leveling up. I honestly believe this, and I honestly believe that your vision is your vision for a reason. And you wouldn't have been given that vision if it wasn't supposed to be yours to go after. So often what can happen is we get so caught up in doubt and fear, but often this happens after we've been given the vision. So we may have been given the vision, or we've been dropped a little breadcrumb to follow that excites us. It brings us joy, or it challenges us, and that feels really good. And then what we do is we ruin it by overthinking it, by getting stuck in doubt and fear, and by worrying about what other people are going to think if we actually follow through on it. And this is where we've got to stop. We've got to stop listening to other people. We've got to stop worrying about what other people are going to think or the impact it's going to have, because if it's been put in your path, it's for you. One of my favorite books of all time is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And she talks about this and how there is magic in your ideas, and that ideas come to you. And if you don't take action on them, those ideas are going to go find someone else that's going to take action on them. And so I was talking to a client about this the other day, and she was saying how in her past she feels like she's missed out on so many opportunities because she's had incredible ideas and didn't follow through on them. She got stuck in the doubt and the fear and the worry, and worried about what other people are going to think or what change is going to happen because of it, and she didn't follow through on it. And then these other people would have this idea and run with it, and then they've created these incredible things, like incredible apps or businesses or opportunities, and she looks at that and goes, oh my God, that was my idea. I had that idea before it became this thing. And this is the thing, like, ideas come to you, and your vision for your business and for your life comes to you for a reason. And it's up to you to make sure that you follow through on it. And one of the things that I often worry about is people who miss out on these incredible opportunities that was really supposed to be for them. And they were supposed to bring it to the world. They were the ones that were supposed to articulate it in a certain way. And by them getting stuck in their doubt and fear, they're leaving these opportunities to other people, but they're going to be left with so much regret. Regret is the worst feeling, and we don't want to regret our lives. And so often this is how I will make decisions. Am I going to regret not doing this? And if the answer is yes, I go ahead and bloody do it. So I want you to think about what's something that you have had an idea on recently, or maybe you've had a vision come to you and you're like, oh, I should follow this path. But then all the thoughts came to the surface, and all the reasons why you shouldn't do that have come to the surface, and you listen to it. I want you to go back to that thought and think about what it could be your next best step. So often we get so caught up in worrying about the 10 steps ahead and what the end result is going to be, instead of just actually following the first step. And I shared this with someone recently at an event that I went to. I was in the lunch line and I was chatting to someone, and she's probably listening to the podcast. So hi, Priya. We were talking about, how did you know what was right for you? And she was saying how she's really trying to find what her next steps are and what her purpose is. And I said to her, which is what I'll say to you, is that I don't think your purpose is ever one thing. I feel like it's also really, people think it's going to be this massive thing. It's going to be this huge sign that says, hey, go this way. But I honestly believe that you just need to follow the breadcrumbs, follow your joy, and the breadcrumbs of the things that excite you. And that will lead you down a path that you never thought was possible. I never knew I wanted to become a coach. It wasn't a thing that was just like this big billboard saying, hey, you should become a coach. That wasn't a thing. I just followed the breadcrumbs of what lit me up, what I was excited by, what I was interested in. Right? I was learning, and I was just in a stagnant space in my career, and I thought that I needed to develop myself further, and I started to learn human behavior. And then through this course of human behavior, they started talking about this thing called coaching, and I was like, oh, what's that? Never heard of that before. Didn't know that was a thing you could do for a job, and started to talk more to other coaches and discovered that it was actually a thing. Like, people are out there running a business as a coach. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. Like, I am a coach. I do this all the time. I give so many people advice, and I support people, and I hold space for people, and I didn't realize it was actually a job. And so sometimes you don't have all the answers, and you've got to trust that the universe is sending you in a direction that you need to go. And so instead of actually stopping and saying, hey universe, I want to know what the next 10 steps are. I want to know what the outcome is going to be. I want to know where you're leading me. Instead of doing that, just trust. Come back to trust and just take that first step. Forget trying to figure out all the 10 steps. follow that first step. Follow the breadcrumbs, follow that interest, that excitement. Do that activity, even though it doesn't feel like it's in alignment with where you want to go. Even if you find like you have an opportunity where someone says, hey, you should come to this event, and you're excited by it, go and do it. Even if you're like, oh, it means I'm going to have to move some things around, or it means I'm going to have to, whatever it is the case, if you're excited by it, you've got to follow that path. So I want you to come back to this. Your vision is your vision for a reason, and you are being led to something greater, bigger than yourself, that you can't even imagine. If you trust and believe the universe is always providing for you, trust in it giving you these beautiful little breadcrumbs and start following them and trusting that they're going to lead you in the right direction.